A long time ago, someone visited Gautam Buddha asking for guidance on mastery. The individual was having emotional difficulties, filled with rage and annoyance, and he was seeking a means of controlling his feelings. Buddha asked him to have a seat, grinning. "I'll tell you a story once," he said. "There once was a monarch who oversaw a wealthy nation. One day he made the decision to visit the adjacent kingdom that he had. Discovered that the monarch of that realm was well known for his insight during the king. When he did, he was treated with immense honor. The monarch of the adjacent kingdom made a lavish feast in his honor. The king saw a fly during the feast. Disgusted with his soup, he placed an order. His attendant to deliver him a fresh bowl of soup. The adjacent kingdom's king witnessed this and pleaded with your majesty not to feel enraged. It was only a tiny insect, but it did. Not important. The king retorted, "I can't stand such. Anything can depress me, even a tiny insect." The monarch of the adjacent kingdom grinned and uttered, "Your majesty, permit me to offer you some guidance." Your mood was not shattered by the fly. However, the way you respond to it, you have the ability to regulate your feelings. Do not give up to their control. The monarch understood the wisdom of these remarks and made his way back to his realm. From that day forward, he began to practice the skill of not responding to circumstances that might earlier cause his feelings. He discovered he could keep his cool when confronting circumstances and was able to improve. Choice is the ability to remain silent is a crucial lesson for each of us to learn. Frequently respond to circumstances without thinking, which may result in unfavorable repercussions. Responding to circumstances with anger and irritation can harm our ties with other people and impede our capacity for rational decision-making, but it's crucial to comprehend, because failing to respond does not imply that we ought to repress our feelings. They're inherent to our human nature, experience, and it's crucial to, rather than responding, acknowledge them. Impulsively, we ought to spend some time, analyze our feelings, and gave rise to a inconsiderate way in a different area of the globe. A young man by the name of Michael was a highly sensitive individual, and he often responded rashly to circumstances that offended him. He would become irate and say unpleasant things that could result in disagreements and wounded sentiments. Michael wanted to seize command one day of his feelings. He was aware that his rash decisions that result in greater, more harm than good. Thus he desired to alter. He began by being mindful and meditation, which enhanced his conscious of his feelings and ideas. He furthermore began honing the craft of not responding each time he was in a circumstances that would typically his feelings. He would retreat and inhale deeply several times. He would then evaluate the circumstances carefully and react with consideration. At first, Michael found it challenging to regulate his feelings. He would nevertheless experience. Despite being irate and annoyed, he would take a pause and refrain from acting hastily. As he kept practicing, he discovered that his ability to regulate his emotions became easier. Michael also saw that his interpersonal connections improved. He was not having arguments anymore, and instead of harming people's sentiments, he was able to speak in a composed and considerate way that aided in his development. Greater bonds between people. Michael's friend visited him one day for guidance. His friend was undergoing a trying period, and he was feeling extremely displeased. Michael paid attention to his pal's issues and provided consoling words and assistance. His pal expressed gratitude and stated, "Always have the perfect thing to say." You never become irate or offended. Michael answered with a smile, "It's not that. I'm never outraged or furious, it's just that I've acquired emotional self-control and refuse to allow them to rule me. It's an strong instrument that has enabled me to advance my connections and my general health." Inspired, Michael's friend inquired him how he came to be in charge of his feelings. Michael talked about his encounter, using awareness and the ability to not. In response, he urged his companion to give it a go, figuring it out on his own, and his pal was appreciative of the guidance over time. Michael gained notoriety for his composure and, with a contemplative manner, he managed to manage challenging circumstances with ease. And he was respected for his power by others and tenacity. He persisted in his mindfulness exercises and the art of staying silent, and he discovered that it gave him a feeling of deep tranquility and contentment, the ability to not. Reacting is a useful skill that we can all benefit from it, but it requires work and patience, but the benefits are substantial. We can do that by managing our emotions, strengthen our bonds and make them better, make choices, and lead a more contented life. Existence, the lesson to be learned from the king, and Michael shows us that we are in control of ability to regulate our feelings. We might not be able to decide what occurs to us. However, we can choose how we respond to it by putting mindfulness in the art of. By remaining silent, we can develop self-control, feelings, and react with consideration. It's an effective instrument that can assist us in strengthening our bonds with one another, health, as well as the general caliber of life. Therefore, let's give it some effort and practice to develop this potent ability and allow it to change our way of life for the better. Rage won't go away, so as long as bitter ideas are treasured in the psyche, fury will vanish as quickly as thoughts of resentment is forgotten. He who withholds growing rage, similar to a rolling chariot, please answer my call. Other drivers, but they're holding the reins. Clinging to rage is similar to consuming poison and anticipating the other individual to pass away. A person who masters themselves is superior to someone else who triumphs 1,000 times. Thousands of people on the front lines. Don't let your emotions guide you through your deeds. Don't look for tranquility, it comes from within, without. In a dispute, the moment we feel fury, we've already given up trying for the truth and have started making efforts. The mind is everything to us. What you believe yourself to be. You won't be penalized for being irate. Your wrath will be your punishment. If attachment is the source of misery, then you desire to practice happiness in others. Empathy, if you wish to be content. Show kindness. We get freedom, and freedom, when we let go, is the sole requirement for contentment. If we still hold to anything in our hearts, rage, fear, or items we are unable to be liberated, more beneficial than 1,000 hollow statements. One term that unites everything: we are the outcome of our current situation. Idea. Don't react, instead. Answer rationally. Not feelings in the end, just 3 items. Regardless of how tenderly or deeply you life and the ease with which you let go of items that weren't intended for you. Whoever perceives life as one recognizes himself in every living thing, dwells within himself, and observes anything with objectivity. Being happy never makes you less happy. We are shaped by our thoughts collectively. We become what we perceive. Do not linger on the past or harbor dreams that the future. Focus the thoughts on the right now. 3 things are not possible: the sun, the moon, and the long hidden. Truth is the only path to the real. To be happy, you must let go of your attachment to objects and individuals. Everything in the mind is thought. You turn into it as a man's own thought, not his adversary. or a malicious foe. Methods by which a concept is created and taking action is more crucial than a notion that is limited to being an idea. No fire can compare to passion. Hate is not like a shark. No snare is present. There isn't a torrent like folly, avarice. We become everything we believe we are. Emerges along with our ideas and our own thoughts, if you will, create the world. You must give up what weighs in order to soar. If you wish to alter the course of history, prioritize self-improvement before seeking happiness. Something prepared that originates from you. Individual acts. The issue is that you believe you have time. When it's calm, the mind is like water, tumultuous, making it hard to tell when. Everything becomes evident when it's tranquil. The tone of hills like a keen knife, without using blood. Avoid attempting to replicate their actions. The smart pursue their goals. The choice of purity or impurity is personal. One person can cleanse another. Let's get up and express our gratitude if we learned very nothing today, but at least we gained some knowledge, and if not, somewhat, at least we avoided becoming sick, and even if we fell ill, at least we survived. So let's all express gratitude. In life, the only true failure is to not abide by the maxim a person knows the past best is not yet the future it has already passed. This, you only have just one moment to live. Being inactive is a quick way to end up dead, and being careful is a dumb way of living. Idle individuals are foolish people who work hard. Hatred is not what ends hatred, rather, hatred is. This is the eternal rule by love. Everything a monk persistently pursues with his contemplating and thinking that turns into the direction of his consciousness. Do not linger on the past or harbor dreams that the future. Focus the thoughts on the present. The mind is everything. What you believe yourself to be. Never expect a century from someone aside from you. The only thing that can make outstanding work is love. How you proceed if you haven't discovered it yet. Continue searching, don't give up on anything. Heart-related concerns, you'll know when you locate it. The greatest honor in life is not found in when they're dropping but always rising. We collapse. Nobody else can save us but ourselves, and nobody else may walk but us. The root